something about Malehya's phone doesn't add up. When RCMP investigators examined her digital records, they found something unusual, not just deleted messages, but a whole communication app completely erased after Lilly and Jack disappeared. Now, new information suggests this deleted app could be the missing puzzle piece in one of the most unsettling disappearance cases in Nova Scotia. The app in question? textPlus, a free Wi-Fi calling and messaging service that leaves behind quiet digital footprints, even after deletion. Investigators believe what Malehya tried to erase might hold a timeline of her final communications before the children vanished. Because in cases like this, truth often hides not in what we see, but in what someone tries hardest to erase. When RCMP tech analysts first began their deep dive into Malehya's phone, they expected the usual messages, call logs, photos, the kind of digital residue that helps reconstruct a person's last days before a major event. But what they stumbled upon was something far stranger, a digital ghost of an app that shouldn't have been there anymore. Hidden deep in the device's system memory were traces of textPlus, a messaging app known for creating alternate numbers and allowing communication without using a personal SIM card. It hadn't vanished because of reset or an accidental software wipe. No, the deletion was deliberate. Only one app had been targeted, removed cleanly, as if someone knew exactly what they were doing. That was the first red flag. When investigators recovered the internal logs, they found that textPlus hadn't been idle. The device showed multiple login attempts on May 1st, just hours before Lilly and Jack Sullivan were last seen. Those logins stretched late into the night, around the time most of the house should have been quiet. Then, just like that, the trail went dark. After May 2nd, not a single trace of communication. It wasn't just the app that stopped working. It was as if someone had pulled the plug on the phone's entire digital heartbeat. Forensic analysts knew what that kind of silence usually meant. Either someone had intentionally cut off communications, or they'd taken steps to erase them before anyone could look. So they moved fast. Within hours, the RCMP filed what's known as a data preservation order, a legal directive that forces tech companies to freeze all user data before it can be deleted or altered. That order went straight to textPlus headquarters in California, demanding the preservation of account data, message logs, backup caches, and IP connection history linked to Malehya's profile. Weeks later, a sealed report confirmed what many suspected. textPlus complied and handed over a set of digital records to Canadian investigators. What was inside remains classified, locked behind court confidentiality. But internal sources hinted that RCMP analysts had been able to recover time-based metadata, precise timestamps showing when and where her account was active. That information alone could redraw the entire timeline, leading up to the children's disappearance. Because if those timestamps placed her phone or her messages somewhere unexpected that night, the implications would be enormous. Even the faintest trace of activity, one that contradicts her original story, could shift the focus of the investigation completely. For months, search teams scoured forests, ponds, and rural roads in vain. But what if the answer was never out there in the physical world at all? What if it was buried inside that deleted app, inside a few lines of code that still remember the truth no one's been able to speak? To the RCMP, that digital ghost isn't just data. It's a possible voice, a silent witness that might finally explain what really happened to Lilly and Jack Sullivan. So, what does a deleted app really leave behind? Far more than most people realize, and in the digital age, what remains hidden beneath the surface can be just as revealing as what's been erased. When someone deletes an app like textPlus, it might look clean on the screen. The icon disappears, the storage resets, and the average user thinks it's gone forever. But in the world of digital forensics, deletion is never final. It's simply the start of another kind of trail. Forensic experts know that every click, every login, every message sent through an app like textPlus leaves behind fragments, what investigators call metadata. These are invisible digital fingerprints, message timestamps, device IDs, IP addresses, and fragment of contact data that linger long after the app itself is gone. Even when messages are erased, the phone's memory retains the proof that they existed, when they were sent, from where and to whom. In many cases, these fragments are stored deep within system files, hidden from everyday view but retrievable by forensic tools powerful enough to read them. But the evidence doesn't end on the phone. On the server side, textPlus maintains its own detailed records, a digital diary that logs who used the app, when they logged in, and from what location. It's how platforms protect themselves from fraud and abuse. But it's also how investigators track truth in the wake of crime. Every login generates an IP address. Every IP address leads to a physical place, a router, a network, a street. And if RCMP analysts obtain those records, they now possess something far more valuable than messages. They have a map, a digital timeline of where Malehya's account was active, which Wi-Fi network she connected to, and the hours she was online during those crucial nights. Imagine what that means in the context of Lilly and Jack's disappearance. If even one of those IP addresses points to a new location, somewhere far from where Malehya claimed to be, the entire timeline collapses. It would suggest movement, possibly a meeting or communication she didn't disclose. One misplaced signal could reveal that her phone, or perhaps she herself, wasn't home during those hours. That's the terrifying precision of digital evidence. Even a single connection can upend an entire story. Experts often describe this kind of data as the memory of the machine, and machines, unlike people, don't forget. Every deleted app, every white message, leaves a residue that can be reconstructed. That's the real power of digital forensics. The past never truly disappears. It just waits for the right investigator to uncover it. And in this case, that's silent. Deleted app may be the one witness that never lies. textPlus may have quietly recorded what Malehya's own words could not. The final online movements, the last connections, and maybe even the truth about what really happened to Lilly and Jack Sullivan on that fateful night. If the textPlus logs still exist, and the RCMP's data preservation order ensured they do, they could be the key that unlocks the final hours before Lilly and Jack Sullivan vanished. Those logs might not contain everything, but what they can reveal could be devastatingly precise. Investigators could find message timestamps that don't match Malehya's official statement, moments when she claimed to be asleep, but her account was active, sending or receiving messages under a secondary number. Even a few minutes of difference between the digital evidence and her verbal timeline could tear holes in her version of events, turning what once sounded like confusion into something more deliberate. The logs might also expose connections to unknown contacts, numbers or usernames not found in her regular phone book, people she never mentioned during questioning. If these contacts haven't come forward or can't be identified, investigators will ask the inevitable. Who were they, and why were they communicating right before 2 children disappeared? Digital forensic teams specialize in tracing those fragments, mapping IPs, cross-referencing device IDs, and locating accounts that match known household members. It's slow, methodical work, but each match could reveal a person who was in contact at the most critical time. Even more unsettling is the possibility that the logs show outgoing calls or messages just hours before the disappearance. Maybe a message sent around dawn, a phone call to a burner number, or a data ping from a nearby Wi-Fi network. Something that points to movement, coordination, or a prearranged meeting. These small pieces of activity often hold more weight than direct admissions because they expose patterns, the who, where, and when that a human story sometimes tries to hide. And then comes the most chilling detail of all, the timing of the deletion itself. System logs indicate that Malehya deleted the textPlus app almost immediately after reporting the children missing. Not before, not days later, after. That's a move investigators can't ignore. Was it a coincidence born out of panic? Or was it a calculated act to erase what she knew could be found? Forensics experts rarely believe in coincidence when digital behavior aligns too neatly with a crisis. According to specialists, people usually delete apps for one of 2 reasons. Either to hide something they don't want others to see, or to protect themselves from being misunderstood. Both motives carry meaning. One points to guilt, the other to fear. But in a case where 2 small children are missing, intent becomes everything. Was she worried that harmless messages might look suspicious under police scrutiny? Or did she know that those messages contained details that could unravel her entire story? Because deletion in the world of forensics isn't just about removing data. It's about control. It's about shaping the narrative of what others will find. And in this investigation, that single act of deletion might be speaking louder than any statement she's ever made. Whether it was fear or concealment, one thing is certain. That deleted app holds answers, and sooner or later, the data will tell which it was. Whatever the reason, that deleted app might hold the truth everyone's been searching for. Maybe it reveals nothing, just a frightened mother deleting personal messages in panic. Or maybe it exposes something deeper, a link, a message, a call that explains why Lilly and Jack vanished without a trace. As of now, investigators are comparing the app's metadata with cell tower data and home router logs. If the timelines line up, it could finally reveal where Malehya's phone, and possibly she herself, was during the critical hours of May 2nd,